things happen. So
now, with the idea of a number of possible fights, dream fights that we love to see happening this year, can someone please tell me what the hell am I going to do in this national recession we're going through with Occupy Wall Street, Occupy DC, right there on Kane, Vermont, right across the street in the park? How can I afford a fight that theoretically may or may not happen? We don't know yet, but how can I afford a fight that can be upwards of $59.99, $49.99 in this recession? Like, should we boycott the boxing industry and say, bring us the fights for free? I don't know about you guys, but I remember when I was younger, I used to watch boxing on Channel 4.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And there were great fights.
Great fights.
Should we boycott this new recent rush in let's jack up prices, Bob Arum, Oscar De La Hoya, or should, Dan Goosentutor, or should we say, you know what, we'll pay whatever you guys want because it's a fan-driven atmosphere?
Well, I think that I think boycotting is a good idea. I think that 9 times out of 10, like I said before, if you go to the mall and you're looking to buy something, you're going to buy what you want. And essentially, when we don't get fights that we want, we still end up paying for them. And 9 times out of 10, in any other industry or any other thing that are maybe of our interest or anything that we enjoy, we don't pay for things that we don't want. But the thing is, these fights that we want to see happening, we just had a list of 2012 fights that we'd like to see happening. Mm-hmm. They're not happening because we buy these other fights.
Right.
And so they're like, well, we can hold off on that for a while because it's making a bigger build-up. They're going to buy these other fights anyways. Mm-hmm. And I think that the people who make boxing what it is, not the fighters, not the promoters, it's the fans. Mm-hmm. We don't put money into the sport, nothing happens. There's no boxing. There's no NBC network. Fights on Saturday nights now. There's no ESPN Friday night fights. We pay money to watch these fights happen. Showbox, Boxing After Dark. Take away the fans. Who puts money into the sport?
It's cockfighting.
Who puts money into the sport?
That's what it turns into.
All right. I think that we should boycott it, man. Like I said, there's no other opportunity that we have to spend money on anything that we do not want, other than boxing.
So?
I personally, I have to admit that I do add to the problem because I will shell out the money. I'll buy the pay-per-view because I'm a boxing nut. Kind of like what Trey touched on earlier. We do have casual fans and we have the real strict fans, and I'm one of those. So I do buy boxing regardless. But from a fan perspective, I absolutely would support a boycott of these outrageous prices that only have one. There are 5 or 6 cards on the fight. 5 or 6 fights on the card, and they only have one really good barn-burning fight. And the main event isn't even the one.
Would stacking the card make that much of a difference if it's not the fight that you want to see?
I would like to see the card stacked, and I think that as long as I do get 2, 3, 4 real good fights, then the main event itself may not have lived up to the hype, but at least I'm getting what I paid for in the preliminary fights. I think that the main event obviously should be the turnkey fight. That should be the fight that draws your attention. That's what the card was built on. But as long as you are getting your money with the undercard fights, I think that it would be okay in my perspective. But I absolutely agree with those who think that I'm paying for the main event. I want to see the main event. I don't care about the undercards, and that's what I want to pay for. So that should be a good fight. I certainly agree with that, and I would support a boycott for cards that do not live up to the hype.
What's the last card that lived up to the hype? The problem that you had just had to sigh and you couldn't pull it off right off the top of your head.
Well, I think that the Marquez-Pacquiao fight did live up because that was a real good fight. It was a fight that pit 2 top-notch fighters against each other. I thought that the controversy, or the decision, was controversial, but I thought that the fight itself did live up to the hype. I don't know if it was worth $59.95 or whatever on HD, but I think that type of a fight is the kind of fight that fighters want to see, or that fans want to see.
I was having sex with that fight, but never climaxed.
Wow!
If you can imagine what that feels like. Like I was getting there, and I was getting there, and I was getting there, and then all of a sudden, it stopped. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Can we finish? No, we can't finish. Pacquiao's thinking about a fight number 4 with Marquez. Marquez wants a fight number 4. Of course, he wants different financial obligations to go along in the contract. I'm not really interested in seeing that fight, to be honest with you, because even if Marquez wins 1, if he wins number 4, what does that mean?
What do they do? Fight again?
What do you do? You do the best 2 out of 3, 6 out of 5. I mean, come on, man. Like, what's going on? You know what? Forget about that. Let's move on.